Hi there, I am Deborah Charns. I own the Namaste Council and the Namaste Getaway, and I am at the Namaste Getaway right now in Wimberley, Texas, which is an hour from Austin and an hour from San Antonio in beautiful hill country. And the topic of today is yoga for seniors. And one of the reasons why I like talking about yoga for seniors is because I am a senior citizen. I have an AARP card, which I've been carrying for quite some time because I get discounts with it. And I am just about a year away, maybe a couple of years away from my Social Security benefits. And a lot of people tend to think of yoga as being for young things. And I have been doing yoga since I was very young. But once I hit 50, I felt it was even more important to be more dedicated to my yoga because I knew that my health was only going to deteriorate. So I thought. In reality, after I turned 50, my health got much better, and I believe that I'm at the best stage of my health ever. I'm taking 0 meds. I'm 62 years old, and I'm feeling great. And there are, I think, a lot of misconceptions about yoga and age, and I have to say that as a yoga instructor and as a yoga therapist, I do loads and loads of work with people that are over 60 or over 55 and what we tend to call active older adults. At the same time, I've worked at senior centers, and I've worked with people that are disabled, and I've worked with a 97-year-old man. So I run the gamut, and as far as I'm concerned, yoga really is for everyone. I pretty much do not teach chair yoga, although my 97-year-old man, I'm like, you want to sit? Go ahead and sit in a chair. That's fine by me. But I have reasons to not like chair yoga, except for those who really are challenged, such as people that are amputees or people that have hip replacements or whatever. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some icons in yoga who were doing yoga until the day they died, or pretty much until close to the day they died. And there are 3 that come to mind. The first one, her name was Tao Porchon Lynch, and she was born in India, and at the age of 8 she started studying yoga. And one of BKS Iyengar, who is one of the greats who also did yoga until he died. He died when he was about 98. He was one of her teachers. And Tao was practicing yoga until she was 101 years old. And she was, to me, just the most gorgeous woman. She actually was a dancer. And she had this incredible flair to her. And I want to read a couple of quotes from her. She said, "I don't believe in age. I believe in energy. Don't let age dictate what you can and cannot do." And I agree 100% with that. At the same time, because I am a certified yoga therapist and I know the difference between a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist, I also highly recommend that for people that have any injuries or that have any health issues, even autoimmune disease or sciatica or osteoporosis, I highly recommend that they work with a yoga therapist as opposed to a traditional yoga teacher. Another quote that Tao said, again, keep in mind she was a dancer, is she said, "Yoga is a dance within, and then something inside you grows so big it spills out like champagne and goes outside." And I worked and lived in San Antonio for 21 years, and in San Antonio we had an icon by the name of Esther Wexler. And Esther didn't start yoga until she was over 50, and there is actually a school of yoga in San Antonio that is named for her. And Esther also did yoga until she was 98 years old. By the way, I mentioned Iyengar until he was 98. He was 95 when he died. And I want to mention that both Esther and Tao, who both died when they were 101 and 98 years old. I want to mention that they both could do the full lotus pose. And for those who don't know the full lotus pose, it requires a lot of flexibility in both the hips and the knees and the ankles. And so I hear all the time from people that say, oh, I can't get on the floor. And chances are, I shouldn't say this, but a lot of times they haven't really tried. And what I encourage them to do a lot of times is grab a chair. So this is a stool, but I'll tell them grab a chair, and if you grab onto the chair, you can get yourself up and down much easier. But to me, it is essential that you gain the flexibility in the hips and in the knees and the ankles, which we were made flexible. And that's again one of the reasons why I chose to become a yoga teacher after I hit 50, because I recognized that the older you get, the more you need to work your muscles, the more you need to work your bones for the bone density and the flexibility and balance. Balance is also crucial the older you get. And so that's another reason why, to me, yoga is ideal for people the older you get. And again, if people, for those that are afraid that they can't get up and down, you can use a chair or a stool to help you up and down. The other thing that I do all the time is I like to use chairs as props to help you lengthen your spine, because one of the major contraindications for people that have osteoporosis or sciatica or osteopenia is you should never round the back down. You need to keep it flat and keep it long. And so if you're holding on to a chair or even a wall, then that really helps you to work on the posture and to lengthen the spine. So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I think yoga is ideal for senior citizens, no matter how active or inactive they are. It's just about finding a person who can coach you and who can work with you. I would never tell a senior citizen to go to a hot power yoga class. However, I have had plenty of seniors who have joined me for hot power classes, but I would never recommend it to anybody. And again, it's extremely important to know the difference between a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist. So as a certified yoga therapist, I am trained 5 times more than a traditional teacher, but beyond that, I don't just teach the physical. So a lot of what I work with is emotional, a lot of what I work with is breath work. And as I mentioned, things like balance are so important the older we get. And I also work on bone density. I've created a series of workshops, which is ideal for older people, and it's called DEM, D-E-M, bones. And it's all about strengthening the bones and also working to counteract anything like osteoarthritis and osteoporosis and all the things that tend to be common as we get older. So for anybody that does have osteoarthritis, you probably know that your enemy is inactivity. And so because of that, yoga is one of the best exercises you can do. And actually, the book that I'm writing, one of the chapters is about yoga for the back. And I've done a lot of advanced training for yoga and the bones. And so again, I think it's ideal. If anybody has any questions, please check out my website, thenamastecouncil.com, and it's COUNSEL.com. Check out my Instagram page, which is my name, and my Facebook pages, The Namaste Council and The Namaste Getaway. That's all one. So I thank you very much for joining. Please check out my other videos and, shoot me a message, comments, and please continue to connect and subscribe. From my heart to yours, namaste.